Hey everyone, welcome to the Bear Experiment podcast, where authentic conversations meet transformative stories of resilience and empowerment. I'm your host, Monica Clavijo. Today we bring you the story that's not only inspiring, but it's raw. It's a testament to the strength of the human spirit and the power of change. Meet Jimmy Brainerd. He's a man who's overcome some of life's darkest challenges to emerge as a beacon of hope and of inspiration. Jimmy's journey is nothing short of extraordinary. Battling severe depression, he fell into the grip of alcohol addiction, a struggle that was so intense that it nearly cost him his 20-year marriage to his loving wife, Ashley. But the fight didn't end there. Alcohol not only fed his demons, but it also activated a bipolar disorder that magnified this pain. Yet in the depths of despair, Jimmy found his turning point. He chose life, he chose healing, and he chose to be the force for good in the lives of others. Along his path of transformation, Jimmy made a life-changing decision to become a kidney donor to a woman that he didn't even know, saving her life and proving that acts of selflessness can be profoundly redemptive. Now, Jimmy's living proof that we're all capable of reclaiming our lives through perseverance, through self-love, and relentless commitment to our mental, physical, and well-being. This story highlights the crucial intersections of mental health, fitness, clean eating, emotional resilience, and it's inspiring others to believe in their own capacity for change. Guys, this is more than just a podcast episode. It's a movement to create awareness about mental health and to spark hope for others in the shadows, and to remind us all that no matter how far we've fallen, we can all rise up again. If this resonates with you, I invite you to watch the full episode on the Bear Experiment podcast, which is available on YouTube. Don't forget to subscribe and share this powerful stories with anyone that you think may need to listen to it most. Together, let's continue to amplify voices of resilience and build a community where no one else feels alone. This is the Bear Experiment podcast, authentic, transformative, and real. Let's dive in. Well, thank you so much, guys, for taking the time to speak with me. It's like I was telling your husband, Ashley, when he came across my feed during a moment of despair, where I was just like, man, I can't get into. I'm trying to work out again. I can't find my groove since I moved over here, and
Yeah.
I guess it's the algorithm that just taps into, other people that are working out, and your page came up, and I started kind of reading a little bit about your story, and I found it fascinating with your title that you're a kidney donor, right? So that sparked my attention even further.
Yeah.
The more that I got to know you, the more interest that I was in speaking with you guys. So thank you so much for taking the time to talk with us on the Bear Experiment.
Yeah.
Um, so why don't we start with what sparked the interest for this conversation? I know that with your decision to become a kidney donor, it was a buddy of yours, a
Yeah.
sister that you basically did not know.
But yeah, basically it was a friend of mine's sister, and she her sister needed a kidney. They had somebody lined up, but for whatever reason, the last minute the cross match didn't come back through, from my understanding. So yeah, and I'd made a joke previously, if that didn't work out, to let me know, I might consider it. Well, what was it, 2 or 3 weeks later, they call I got the call. So that was kind
It's
of
about
crazy.
3 weeks to a month later.
Yeah. So I was like, holy.
I didn't want him to donate it first until he was like, hey Ash, we were about the same age as the girl that needed the kidney, and he's like, if this was you, you'd want somebody to do this for you.
Yeah. Yeah. It was it's the best thing I've ever done, though. I can, no matter how weird life gets, I can always say, hey, I did that.
Absolutely. My God, what an act of kindness. You saved somebody's life, So when you got that phone call that they told you, hey, buddy, I need your help. You said you would help out. The donor fell through. Can you step up to the plate here? Like, what goes through your mind at that point? How do you make that decision?
I jokingly said I do it for a reason. It's kind of like you're self-conscious. You may joke about certain things, but deep down, sometimes that's what you really want to do. And really, it was just talking my family into saying it was okay, because I knew what I wanted to do. I've always donated blood and that kind of stuff. I'm an organ donor, but to be a living organ donor,
Yeah, that's a big difference.
Yeah, especially if you're healthy, and it totally changes. You're laid up for a little while, you can't go right back to work and that kind of stuff. So it was scary, but I mean, it was the best thing I've ever done, honestly.
Ashley, and you guys are a very loving couple. You've been together forever. She shared her story on how you had Bucky Beavers just like I did when we were younger.
I told her about
You told her about my teeth.
Yeah.
I found it very relatable. I was that girl too. So listen, more power to us, right?
They said that he needed braces. He never got them, and they're like, now the dentist love his teeth. He's got perfect teeth, and I'm like, and here I am, the one it just completely flipped.
That's what happened.
I'm a big dork. I always have been. I don't know. I don't think I've changed, but I always got picked on growing up, so just part of it, I guess.
So Ashley, for you, when he tells you, listen, babe, I'm doing this, I'm donating a kidney, like what goes through your mind as you love this man, obviously he's risking his life by making this decision and donating a kidney. Like what goes through your head at this point,
Well, it was scary. It was scary because that's exactly why. Because like at first I was like, please don't do this because of the family. And I was like, we had two little ones at the time. We had a 2-year-old and a 4-year-old at the time. And I'm like, if I lost him, like, what am I going to do? He was like helping me. I was going through school at the time. He was like the breadwinner, taking care of everything. So it's like, if I lost him, he was my soulmate. But then he came to me and was like, if this was you, you'd want the same thing. And as a human, I was like, I definitely would. So he was right.
Yeah.
And so you have to be a match. So how does that work? How does that process work then?
Typically it's like several weeks worth of testing, but because she needed it so bad, typically they try to do the transplant before they start dialysis. Once they start dialysis, then there's a higher chance of the rejection. So she was right to that point to where she was going to have to start dialysis. So they kind of, I hate to say rushed, but it was maybe 2.5 weeks?
Within 3 weeks,
within 3 weeks, I was donating.
He was driving back and forth 8 hours.
Yeah, to Texas, where we did the transplant. Just, meeting the doctor, the coordinator. There's a whole team of people that do this every day.
Fabulous team.
A fabulous team. It was great. And everybody treats you like a hero. Oh, you're donating. I mean,
because you are a hero after doing that. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, well, you don't, when you do stuff like that, that's not the way your mind works. People that do stuff like that don't think that way, I promise you.
Just the rest of us.
Yeah,
right.
It's kind of weird. But and that's another thing, I want to get that out there. So part of what I'm doing now is kind of promoting that. Yeah, I'm labeling myself all these things to help all these people. So yeah, I had depression, I was an alcoholic, I donated a kidney. So these are people that overweight. Yeah. But why was I overweight? It's because I was depressed, right?
Because you were so depressed.
Exactly. So if I can touch a little bit on each one of these things.
Well, that's definitely going to be the conversation. That's the layout that I have for you guys. I'm very interested in learning more and hearing it directly from you guys. But before we get into your weight loss journey and your health journey, because it kind of started with this act of kindness, right? With donating the kidney. How painful of a process was it after the surgery?
So, yeah, I'm not gonna lie. It was rough. I mean, they did it laparoscopic, so it was small incisions, but they go in there and they kind of rearrange everything. So it was basically, I mean, the way I explained it to her, she said it sounded similar to like a what would you call it? Not a C-section. What did you say? Anyway, she told me something. But anyway, the hardest part was like tying my shoes, like leaning over and tying my shoes. That's the biggest thing. And then the gas. You just feel like you're going to explode the whole time.
And how long was that recovery process then after the surgery?
Months.
It was months, but it was kind of my fault. I kind of didn't listen to the doctor, and I was doing things too soon. So, yeah, ideally, 3 weeks. I should have waited 3 weeks at least till I went back to work.
Right.
But I'm a knucklehead. I did it. I went back to work too soon.
Did you maintain a relationship with the girl?
Yeah, we haven't spoken a while, but life happens. But yeah, for the first few
we keep
years,
on touch on social media, and then like they did we had like a lot of family parties together and that kind of stuff, especially at first, and intertwined.
We need to reconnect. It's life. It's an excuse. We got to make excuses to hang out again.
And she does live in a completely different state, very far away.
They live in Texas, so it's kind of tough.
And so how did this impact your life? So you struggled with depression after your surgery, right? It wasn't, you were fine before, or or have you always dealt with depression?
I think I always had it, but maybe I did have a little bit of I don't know, what do you call it? Like separation anxiety or something. So, like I gave away a part of myself or something. Maybe that kind of triggered something. But I think what it was, it's, I was so used to doing all this stuff before, I thought I could just jump back in and do it again.
Yeah, he thought he was He-Man.
Yeah. And, sometimes being a man, we're not the smartest creatures in the world. We try to be Hercules sometimes.
That's why you have Ashley.
Yeah. I've learned to balance. So she's got her strengths, I have mine. She's got way more strengths than I do. That's why we're still together. But yeah, basically, I went back to work too soon. I started back working out again too soon. I ended up getting some hernias and stuff like that. 9 hernias after the surgery because I was a knucklehead.
His stomach is an 8x10 mesh plate. Like it's just like mesh.
Yeah,
abdominal wall.
And then that mesh ended up getting recalled.
Yeah.
The C-Cure mess. So I dealt with that
and they had to do a replacement.
Yeah, they replaced that. I was in the hospital for 12 days? 10 or 12 days.
Yeah. First time he had allergic reaction, I almost died. His fever jumped up 105.
Yeah, I think it was.
They had to put NG tubes in. He was real bad off.
It was a hospital food. I think it's what it was. I just had to get out of there.
Isn't hospital food supposed to be the healthiest? Nah.
No, it's not. It's horrible. Yellow and what else? I don't even think it's real food.
Yeah.
I didn't say that. Don't
We'll bleep that part out. So if anybody was out there in a position where they could help somebody, it could obviously, I would imagine that it starts with a family member and a loved one before you go to a stranger like you did. That's why it's so admirable the way that you did it.
It could be anybody. You could do either like a paired program. I forget what they call it, but you could donate to one person. That person ends up it's like a chain.
Yeah. So if you have a friend or a family member that needs a kidney, you can actually donate your kidney to somebody else in exchange. They will find the kidney for the person that you.
Yeah,
that way the matches work.
It's really cool, but you just never hear anything about it. It's kind of like taboo.
Right.
But you'll hear all this other stuff, but
or bone marrow.
Yeah, any kind of, you could save somebody's life just by donating part of your liver. Your liver will grow back. Whatever part you donate will grow back. When you donate a kidney, your remaining kidney will like double in size to compensate. So there's nothing I can't do now than I did before. I just didn't follow
His one kidney functions perfectly, if not better than normal.
And I pee all the time. It really freaking works. It gets on my nerves.
Even with alcoholism and everything else, that kidney's just like trucking.
It ain't hurting. I promise you. That thing, it talks to me at night. It's like, I'm doing great. I promise.
And he gets yearly checkups.
Yeah. Yeah. I get my blood work done at least every 3 to 6 months. My creatinine level, my full panel, all that stuff. Just, I don't want to mess with any of that. I'm doing everything I can natural. Pretty much all my proteins coming from real food. I don't even really do the protein shakes. I try to stay away from processed stuff as much as possible. It's, that's really tough, but I try to. But I'm just trying to take care of myself the best I can. So.
Okay, so let's dive into the dark side of this path the dark side. What is it that they call it? The dark side of the soul of the night. Yeah.
Yeah. So basically, I lost purpose. I believe At the time, I was a banker for Wells Fargo. COVID happened. I was working at home. Gained what, like 100 pounds at home, sitting on my butt, way too close to the refrigerator.
Were you always were you always athletic? Were you were working out and take care of yourself,
I was,
or
what would you call it? I was always kind of, yeah, I was always chubby, but I always had some, little bit of muscle on me or whatever.
He's always had like the broad bulldog,
broad
like
shoulders and that.
Yeah,
kind of stuff.
even whenever he was at his most, like 340, people still asked him about his workout routine just because it was.
But I was maybe like, when I worked out all the time back in the day, I'd only work out like maybe twice a week, maybe 3 times a week, back when I was in my early 20s when we first started dating.
Yeah.
Then we got comfortable and what do they call it? Fat and happy, I guess.
I got pregnant.
She got pregnant.
And we gained the weight together. He gained just as much weight as I did.
Well, that always happens too.
Yeah. So you get
he had sympathy weight.
It happens.
It's an excuse to be lazy and get fat. That's what it was. Yeah. But anyway, just she gained the weight. I got comfortable, and then I was content with that, which at the time was not a good thing.
So you're stuck in the house. It's during COVID, just like all of us, right? I think that everybody went through some form of level of depression during this period, just like this force, loneliness that everybody was experiencing at this time. We were away from our loved ones. We couldn't see our parents. We weren't able to go into the office. So I think that happened to a lot of people. And so when you're there, were you drinking before or did it start when you were at home?
More often. I had, I had maybe an hour, 2 hours worth of work I had to do a day. And I still got paid for the whole day. So what do you do with the rest of that time? You can't go for a walk. You can't, your refrigerator's right there. You can order groceries. You can order beer and have it delivered. I took advantage of all that stuff. I was just bored. I didn't have nothing to do. I could have been doing push-ups, sit-ups, jumping jacks, running around the yard, whatever. But, you start doing bad things, you start doing more bad things.
Right.
And that's what I was doing. I was too damn comfortable.
So then you get into you get into this position where you're just like excessively drinking at this point. And speaking with your wife, she explains to me that this kind of activated this bipolar disorder that I guess you had deep inside, and alcohol triggers it.
Yeah. It's just an alcohol induced type. It kind of.
I have heard of that. I have heard of that.
He's so easygoing and lovable and everything else, like naturally, but then that's the Jacqueline Hyde syndrome.
Alcohol does that to everybody. Some form of ugliness is going to come out in you. It's
And then I'm like, and at one point, like, he's getting so ugly. I'm like, at what point when you're getting ugly and you're around us, then you're just doing it just to be mean to us. Like, if you're aware of your anger issues, whenever you drink alcohol, then that should,
And you get so used to it. She'd say stuff about it, but I took it as her just nagging me.
Well,
what else you want me to do?
I was the nagging why? Because they were even like little kids, like hiding beer behind the seat because like I didn't want it in my house. Like I was getting the point that I was just like, I don't want it in my house. I don't want it anywhere around. It was, and he was hiding it.
How much were you drinking?
At least a 12-pack a day. Easy. Yeah.
That'll add to the waistline too.
Oh yeah, definitely. Empty carbs.
I was like, he spent like an average like $1,000 a month just on alcohol.
Yeah, that's crazy. She was telling me the cost of alcohol that you guys were spending. That's insane.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you take every day after work, stopping, getting a 12-pack or whatever.
Going to the bars.
Going to the bars when the bars open back. It all adds up. It's a little stupid stuff.
And he would get drunk and love to pay for everybody.
Oh yeah, I'd love that.
Yeah,
it's like it's a credit.
One time when we went to New Orleans, he actually had $1,000 barbell for one night.
Yeah, and I didn't remember anything. I was like, "What are you talking about?" I didn't do that.
Yeah,
I bet you felt real stupid afterwards. We've all been there, right?
Yeah, I did.
All strangers, people he'd never see again.
But I kept doing it. So I didn't learn my lesson. I kept making the bad decisions and ignoring that little voice in my head that told me, hey, stop, you're being an idiot. No, alcohol drowned all that out. It drowned out all the good stuff that was trying to come through.
And I was the person just nagging, getting on to him, the wife, the B wife, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Always being around.
Oh, that B word.
That B word. Yeah.
The bitch, we can say it.
Yeah. Okay. Always hitching around.
This is a good podcast.
This is a PG-13 podcast. We don't say bad words.
I just saw him going down this downward spiral. So I was just trying to like pull him out of it. Like I was trying to get help from anybody that would help me. And it seemed like nobody wanted to help me pull him out of it. It was just like me and me alone.
Why do you think? Right? Why do you think that was, Ashley? Why do you think people didn't want to help you?
Everybody was enabling him. Jimmy has always been like this charismatic person, and like even when all this stuff was happening at first, they were like, Ashley, it's you, because I was like the manager type. Like that's what I did with my career and everything else. And like the straightforward, but I've always been very, very honest. I'm not I don't fib, and I'm very curt. So I'm like, everybody knows that about me, but they could not believe that Jimmy was doing that. They just thought I was making it all up. They thought I was exaggerating. And I'm like the coming home at 4:00 in the morning, 3 and 4 nights a week from the bars.
Well, that's also what it is, right? Like everybody loves you when you're fun, when you're in a good mood, when you're drinking, when you're in trouble. That's where you see if you even have any friends at that point, because everybody just bails, right? Nobody's there for you. He didn't
get angry with other people. It was just once he got home. So,
well, yeah, because the buzz was going away. Reality was starting to kick in. There was clearly something that he was unhappy with. Okay, so Ashley's fed up with you. She can't take it anymore. Clearly, Jimmy, clearly deep inside, like you understand, like I need to make a change. I just don't know how to, right?
I knew I was my own worst enemy.
And see, I've always thought, like, our beginning story, we met, we knew each other in elementary school, made fun of him, called him Big Nerd, and we put that on our mailbox later on in life. But, we were on each other's like home videos, and then, but whenever we went on the blind date and saw each other within 3 weeks we engaged, 5 months later, it's like we just knew, and it's like we were soulmates. And whenever he was going through this, I mean, I was just trying to keep my soulmate from drowning, and it was scary.
Yeah. No, I can't imagine like how difficult it is, because you want him to stop, but you understand that you can't stick around to watch him kill himself either, right?
Kids were watching it, and I probably could have stuck around longer, but I just couldn't let my kids stick around longer.
Right. So you make this decision where you just say, I can't do this to my children anymore. I can't do this to myself anymore. You need to go get help. You need to stop. Do you go, Jimmy? Do you go get help somewhere, or do you do this on your own with the love of your family?
I did it on my own. I said, the hell with this. I ended up, I applied at UPS. I quit my job.
The job that he was at that time also.
The job that I was at was not good for me.
Yeah.
And
they encourage bad behaviors.
Well, we're not going to say all that.
That's how I felt.
It was not the right place for me.
Yeah.
I will say that. So I made a decision. I up and quit. I said, this isn't going to work. If I'm going to make this change, I've got to change everything. So once I heard back from UPS, that gave me the confidence or whatever to, stick that job or whatever down their butt or whatever you want to say. Anyway, I left that day, started training for UPS, and didn't look back. I started hitting the gym, 3 days a week, went to 4 days a week, started training in the warehouse at UPS, just rebuilding my body. I was so out of shape, so sore, so tired. She had to help me out the car for 3 months?
Yeah, we were buying back braces.
Yes, I had to go to the Good Feet store because my feet were killing me. I had to go through foot inserts, back braces.
He was overweight trying to work this manual.
Yeah. So
how heavy were you? How heavy were you at your heaviest?
My heaviest
340
was 340 pounds. My heaviest
how tall?
5'11" and a half.
Okay.
So not even 6 foot. So now I'm like 224 this morning.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm down 100 whatever pounds.
120 pounds.
But I literally destroyed the old me to create what I am now.
Mm-hmm.
Like everything, what I watch, what I eat, what I do, who I talk to, what I put myself around with, what I watch on TV. Everything has changed.
I think
Everything.
I think that's the big focus point with anybody that's experiencing like any form of depression, or where you feel, like you haven't achieved certain things in life and you just fall into the slump, right? It happens to everybody at one point in their lives or another. So with this slump that
Yeah.
you fall into where you're rebuilding yourself, now you're continuing to help others like you did
Yeah.
with your kidney donation, and you
Yep.
guys started Rise to Grind, which is how I found you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I think that's awesome you found me. I don't know how people find me. I put out those reels, and I put out little things, like little voices, not voices, but little thoughts that go through my head that have helped me, go through all this stuff. I'm sure everybody thinks the same way I do. You got two different voices in your head, one telling you what you should do, and then one telling you what not to do. You know what I mean?
Well, I'll
Or
tell
what
you,
you
I
shouldn't
was
do.
telling your wife, because what the attention that attracted me to you was you have this way of talking to your phone when you're in the gym, where you're talking like you're reaching people, and you may think like, oh my God, I sound like a fucking moron,
Exactly.
on
Yes.
the
He says that
phone in
all the
the
time.
Every
morning.
freaking time. I'm like, oh my God, that was so stupid. Watch.
Yeah.
And I'm like, wait a minute, that wasn't that bad. So
No, but then what
yeah,
happens is, even if it's two people, those two people, you might change their lives, and that's okay.
yeah.
That's two people that
Mhm.
you helped.
He's
But you
so animated in the way he like presents himself, like facial. I've always said like voice actor or actor. He's just
I don't know. I'm me. I don't know how to.
I was like a little rock here. Is what
No, dude, I wish.
the Irish one,
The
so
Irish.
so
Irish rock.
one of the biggest foundations, and and any rehab that you're doing for yourself, I think that it all starts with your mind, right? Like, you got to get your mind right, and then everything else follows. So
Yeah,
that's what you had to do. You start going to the gym, you start doing all the right things. You're mentioning how you were watching what you were seeing on television, the people that you were dealing with. I'm sure you had to X a lot of people
yeah,
out of your life because they were just bad influence, and you knew that they weren't
yeah.
good for you.
Hmm.
So how do you start making those decisions? Like, how can you kind of walk us through that part where somebody that's right now in that slump, and where do they start? Like, how do they stop the bullshit?
Honestly, you get rid of all the things that are holding you back one by one. That's it in a nutshell. If you're eating bad food that's making you feel like crap, you need to change that. If you're having an addiction, staying up too late on Facebook, you already know what you need to do. Put down your damn phone. You already know all the little things you need to do. You just got to do it. And if you don't know, you can use that phone to find out. So it's about using the resources you already know to use and just start executing those things. You already
Right.
freaking know what to do. You just got to
That's
do it.
it's true. We know what to do, right? It's just like just getting that
Asking
willpower to
everybody in the
actually.
world and just do it. We know
It's
what to do.
it's sticking to consistency also, right? I think that's the
Yeah.
hardest part also. Like, you know what to do, you get up, you try it for 3 days, you get sore from the gym, and then you're like, oh shit, I'm just gonna rest and I'm gonna order a pizza.
Exactly. And then you turn into that whatever you were trying to run away from.
But then he does that
Yeah.
rise to grind every single morning. He goes on and he says something like, and it like waking up in the morning and
Oh
explaining
yeah.
like,
Most of the time I'm half asleep. Like I really just wake up and do those things.
but he does them every day. And to me,
Yeah.
that's inspirational. Like he helps. I have a disease, and like it's like I have to reset every 4 months when I get a
Oh
procedure
yeah.
done.
She goes through that.
And luckily, I have him like cheering me on. So every 4 months, I get to hit my restart button. But I mean, yeah, I restart every 4 months, and he's making sure. Well, I won't say making sure. He's not like ever getting on me or anything else, but he's like,
I keep her, I
encouraging
told her,
me to,
yeah, we kind of do a little bit of that. We know when we're being lazy and when we're
yeah.
doing stuff we shouldn't be doing.
And then we bounce nutrition and everything else.
Dude, she can cook now. She was like a 5 or 6. Now she's like what, 9?
And that's a steroid. I get steroids injected in my inner ear every 4 months. So like the whole family, like we've done this like nutrition reset also. My son's lost 85 pounds.
Yeah.
He's, I've helped him with 120. I've lost 50. I still got a lot more to go. But like I said, I hit that reset every 4 months, but he gets me back, helps encourage to get me back.
So can you walk us through some of the changes that you started with food that maybe I can follow, for example? Like what are some tips that you can share with me as a single mother that works a lot, that doesn't like cooking, where I can kind of like, not have to go through a drive-through, which I don't, but if I'm hungry, I'm going to go through a drive-through.
A lot of recipes are that like I come across that kind of stuff. Doing of course a little Googling. I even got a cookbook, A Taste of History. It's about not putting those chemicals in your food. Whenever you were going to like pick out your cottage cheese, for example, if you go and look at like if you turn it around and at first ingredient shopping takes you a really long. I remember I used to be in the grocery store for hours at the beginning, but now I know exactly what has what in it. It only takes me a second to go through the grocery store. But like Daisy cottage cheese only has 3 ingredients, whereas all the other ones have 30 ingredients. And those chemicals affect your brain. It affects your motivation. It affects a lot of things that we do. And so if we can get a lot of that processed food, fast food out of our diets, the first thing is like to affect your mind, get the processed foods out first. I mean, that
processed stuff
that will get you like thinking I need to get in the gym, because you start like becoming a lot more aware of health. And
of what
I used to have brain fog before the chemicals, and now I don't have brain fog anymore.
Yeah, we used to live through working all the hours that we used to work.
I work 60 hours a week. He would work 60 hours a week.
Fried chicken, like what, at least
3 times?
Or Popeye's chicken.
Yeah.
I love Popeyes.
Yeah,
they got a chicken wing place right down the street called Food Sackley. It's kind of local to here, but I mean, you get a whole dang like family size thing of chicken tenders and big old thing of, I mean, oh my God, you can eat on that thing. We're eating like that every night, pretty much.
Yeah.
It was either that or pizza. I mean, that's what you got to stay. Anything that starts with the word fast, stay away from.
Right.
You want to make your own food at home if you can.
And it's in anything that has the word enriched in it. So like enriched long grain rice is bad for you. Get jasmine rice. It's a great substitute, but they haven't taken the nutrients out of the rice. So you can still eat, and then it can taste so good. But just using like fresh foods and
just pay attention to your labels.
Yeah, advanced labeling.
That'll help you more than anything.
Mm-hmm.
They told me about this. They told me about this app. It's called Yuka. I think it's YUKA. Yeah. And it gives you a lot of information on the different, chemicals and all the foods and
I'll say like Yuka approved or whatever. Yeah, we don't go to that extreme, but that is you could just scan it and it'll tell you.
Right.
But
right.
We just look at the lesser amount of ingredients, the better.
Like I got a cookbook called Taste of History, because it goes all the way up from like 1740 BC all the way up to 1914, like a pecan pie without the cornstarch in it.
I'm gonna look into that.
So it's like a healthy version of healthier version.
Yeah, that's like pecan pie sounds so freaking good.
Well, and like I make a Snickers, but instead I use like a date, a pecan, some peanut butter, and dip it in dark chocolate. It tastes just like a Snickers. It's delicious.
It really does.
It really does.
Like, especially if you put it in the freezer and it's still kind of frozen. It's
delicious. Yeah. So it's just knowing like I can still have all the same food that I was eating before. I'm just doing it in a non-processed, healthier way.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. It's all about moderation and the quality of your food. Like even like my eggs, I try to get pasture raised eggs, like the organic cage free. If you take a regular store brand, then one of these, you crack it open, it's night and day.
Yeah,
one will be like a light orange, and then the or like a yellow.
You could tell in the color.
Like a bright. The food that you're eating, you want to make sure it's eating good stuff too.
Yeah, I saw that a lot of your reels, you're shopping at Aldi's, and there's an Aldi's right around the corner where I just moved to here in Orlando. Yeah. I love that place. It's good quality meats. Yeah. It's reasonably priced.
Yeah, not everything in there is the greatest, but I mean, better than most places. So I love it there.
Yeah, I like their chunky guacamole. It's got good ingredients in it, and they have these almond flour. There's only one bad ingredient. These little almond flour biscuits. The palm oil is the only bad ingredient.
Oh, I got to try that.
Made out of almond flour, and like they're really good tasting crackers.
Yeah, they're not bad at all. If you're craving something crunchy, I mean, it tastes like it would be bad for you. It's actually not. And it's really good with the guacamole.
So do you
for the Ritz crackers? We're going for those almond flour.
Yeah, stay away from Ritz.
Yeah,
God, those are horrible.
Yeah.
Do you guys meal prep for the most part, or?
I meal prep all my stuff based. There's one day a week where I eat bad, but all the other days I meal prep. Yeah.
Well,
not exact. I don't weigh it out and all that stuff, but I cook all my stuff and have it together.
Yeah, jasmine rice, because those carbs. Him working doing 20,000 steps a day. The cardio, he needs carbs, so we make sure we put rice and we get some veggies and do chicken and sometimes it's tuna fish and.
No, I don't normally do the tuna fish.
Well, only if we have the
one time I did. That was an accident.
You guys gotta try the tuna fish salad from Matthew McConaughey.
Oh, okay.
I have heard.
I love that guy.
Yes,
it's good stuff. It's tuna with mayonnaise. It's got wasabi.
It's got wasabi in it.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
It's got potato chips in it too.
It's got jalapeno potato chips.
Yeah.
I haven't done it yet, but I'm gonna do it. It looks delicious.
I'm really freaking hungry right now.
That's all we're doing. Okay, what was your podcast about food?
Today's your cheat day.
Hey, today's my cheat day.
There you go.
You never know.
So with your Rise to Grind community that you're developing right now, what are your goals with that? What are you looking to achieve with that?
Okay, so most of the fitness groups that I joined when I was trying my fitness journey were so negative, and they were promoting steroid use and all this off the wall, just marketing bullshit, basically. So I wanted to start a group that people could join and not worry about the negativity, where they don't have to worry about being scammed or spammed with steroid promotions, that kind of stuff. I might need some water. Just a more positive group, because I don't know if you've joined any others. There's a lot of garbage out there, and it's solicitations, unwarranted solicitations, and just not positive stuff. And every time I post, it was steroids. I'm like,
right.
What's wrong? You don't get in shape by taking steroids. That's how you get in trouble.
Yeah.
Right. Long term. Sure. Yeah. That's what's going to mess up your body.
Yeah. They and if he took steroids, it would kill him because of course it affects your kidneys.
Can't do those. I don't want to do. I'm not trying to be a bodybuilder. I'm just trying to get in shape, look good, feel good. That's
so
it.
How long from, so you mentioned that it was during COVID in 2020, we're practically in 2025 already. How long did it take you to get to this point where mentally you're feeling so good, you're looking great? How long does it take you to get to this point?
Once I started, I kind of half-assed it for a little while, but once I got serious, it was
his last drink was June 22nd, 2023, and then once he had that last drink, it's probably about 4 or 5 months after that.
Yeah, once I quit drinking, about 5 months later, the weight just started falling off, literally falling off. Every day I was losing a pound. It sounds insane, but I was. I mean, it was just falling off. My liver started working, my metabolism increased, every part of my body felt better, acted better, having less aches and pains, more energy, everything totally changed.
Blood work coming back
great. I almost had cirrhosis. My enzyme levels were high in my liver. All those are in normal range now. So everything is pretty much healed itself. I mean, it's been kind of crazy.
Well, you like I told you, you're definitely inspiring others. I can speak for myself. You're inspiring me. That's why we're talking here on this podcast. And I appreciate you guys speaking with me. Ashley, thank you also for hopping on. You're part of the story, like I told you, and you're part of his success. And
that's the reason. She's really the reason.
He leaves me little notes that say, "I love you. You saved my life."
Yeah, she did.
All over the house. He'll leave them for me.
All that nagging and calling me out
and the ultimatum
paid off.
Yeah.
So, guys, if you're lucky enough to have a wife, you better listen to her. She loves you.
Oh, that's awesome, Jimmy. Okay, Jimmy. So let's seal the deal here. one piece of advice, or what can you say to anybody that's really down in the dirt right now? They're just depressed, they're hurting, they could be drinking, they could be doing drugs. They know what they got to do, but they can't find the strength to do it. What words of advice, encouragement to let them know like they can do it? If you could do it, anybody can do it. What are you going to tell them?
Everybody's messed up. Find something you love, go for it each and every day. Better every day. That's it.
It's funny because David Goggins, he has that I was watching a podcast that he was doing, and they have little clips of him everywhere saying it. And he starts, you know who he is, David Goggins, the
Yeah.
former Navy
Yeah.
SEAL.
Yep.
And
Yep.
he says, he's like, man, if everybody would just understand that everybody's fucked up.
Yeah. Oh
Everybody's
yeah.
fucked up.
Yeah.
It's just some people have a better way to hide it than others. That's the
That,
only difference.
that's the truth. I promise you. I was in banking for years. Everybody's fucked up. People with money, people without money, everybody's fucked up. And it's always the people that are the most fucked up that are the least you would think they're the most fucked up.
That's right. They're
Yeah.
right.
Do you remember everybody was blaming me, and it was
It was yeah. Perception's a bitch.
Yeah.
Perception.
Oh.
That's true. That is true.
Mhm.
So, Jimmy, how can our viewers find you to reach out to this wonderful community that you started so that they can join?
Facebook's the best way. I'm still learning Instagram and TikTok, but yeah, Facebook's going to be Rise to Grind.
And it's TO.
Yeah, TO. Then my personal Facebook, which is a verified one, is Jimmy Brainerd, JimmyBrainerd. Just look for that check, and that is me.
Okay, I'll make sure to put all the links in the comment section in our YouTube channel so that everybody can easily find you. I will suggest, though, get on TikTok. TikTok has a great algorithm, and you grow real fast.
I'm on TikTok. You can look at it. You'll laugh at me a little bit.
I already did. I found you.
Oh, you did fine. I'm trying to figure it out. I haven't figured it out yet.
But TikTok does really well with followers and just the algorithm, and it's about consistency with posting every day, like what you're doing on Facebook.
Okay,
Post that same clip. Post that same clip. Copy it to your phone and post it on Instagram. Post it on TikTok, and start a YouTube page. Start a YouTube channel.
To do that.
Yeah,
I just turned.
I've been
40,
saying that.
I just turned 45, so I'm like, this stuff is really cool, but I feel like my grandfather doing it. So
yeah, no, it's easy.
Babe, what is that? What is that?
No, you have Ashley next to you that she's going to be the brains behind everything.
I don't know about tech. We rely on our children.
We're just screwed.
Our daughter is in a different city, and she's literally social media ambassador for her college, but that's 4 hours away from us, not here.
Well, the beauty of social media is that you don't have to be next to each other, and she can still help you through the computer, but definitely with the movement that you're trying to start, YouTube is a great way to keep reaching people, to do long form interviews with different people that are joining your community, and you can talk to them about their challenges and how they're rising to the grind.
Definitely.
Yeah, that'll be good stuff for your community. So I look forward to continuing to follow you guys and seeing your growth, and hopefully we can repeat this again. I know, Ashley, we're hopefully going to set something up where I can speak with you about your personal journey.
Yeah, she's got a story. Woo.
Yeah. So we'll definitely be setting something up for us to chit chat a little bit about that. But again, thanks a lot, guys, for speaking with me this Sunday. I know that you guys, it's your day off, and you guys are doing some family fun stuff today. So I'll let you go. I'll let you go free.
All right.
Thanks a lot, guys. Okay, take care of yourselves.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Okay, bye.
Yeah.